A few weeks ago, I met someone, and no, this isn't a love story. At least not in the way you probably think. The funny thing is that almost nothing extraordinary actually happened. No dramatic romance, no grand gestures, no life-changing relationship. But this person ended up teaching me something important about myself. Um, for a very long time, I stopped allowing myself to feel. Not because I wanted to, it just happened gradually. Life happened, disappointments happened, walls went up, and after a while, not feeling anything started to seem safer than risking getting hurt. Then, one Saturday night, I was at work. It was around 2 in the morning, and the night had been terrible. Hardly any customers, no money, nothing interesting happening. Then suddenly a large group of people walked into the club. I usually don't approach everyone. I watch people first, I trust my intuition, and most of the time it's right. That's when I noticed him. I immediately had a feeling he'd be interested in me. He walked to the ATM and I casually positioned myself nearby so he'd notice me. Which sounds absolutely ridiculous when I say it out loud. um, he walked right past me and went outside. So I moved to a seat by the entrance. A few minutes later, he came back in and walked straight toward me. The moment we started talking, everything else disappeared. The club disappeared, the noise disappeared, the people disappeared. It was just us having a conversation. And he felt it too. There was an attraction between us that was impossible to ignore. At one point, he looked at me and said, "Maybe we should get out of here and go get something to eat." The problem was I still had 2 hours left of work. But honestly, I was already thinking about seeing him again. The funny part is that in my club, we are technically not supposed to meet customers outside the club. But I barely leave my house. Where exactly am I supposed to meet people if not at work? We ended up spending about 30 minutes together in VIP. The chemistry was undeniable. Before we left, I told him I wasn't interested in food anymore, but could definitely go for coffee. I gave him my number. He said he'd wait for me to finish work. Then life happened. Someone hit his car in the parking lot and he left. But we agreed to meet the next day. The next evening, he picked me up and we went to dinner. And that's where reality started creeping in. The more I learned about him, the more obvious it became that we lived completely different lives. He didn't even live in Los Angeles. There was no future here, no relationship, no fairy tale ending. At best, this was going to be one night. And strangely enough, that made me a little sad. Not because I wanted to marry him, but because somewhere deep inside, I still haven't completely given up on the idea of finding something real. After dinner, we went to a bar, and that's where something unexpected happened. I realized that for the first time in a very long time, I wasn't thinking about anything. I wasn't worrying, I wasn't planning, I wasn't stressing about work, money, immigration, my future, or anything else. I was simply enjoying the moment. I was present. And sitting there almost a year sober, I realized something else. For years, I thought alcohol helped me relax, but it doesn't. I was exactly the same person without it. The only difference was that this time I was completely sober. That night ended exactly the way you'd probably expect it to. And when he dropped me off at home, I cried. Not because something bad happened. I cried because I knew I would probably never see him again. And somehow that hurt. Because he had touched something inside me. He didn't make me fall in love. He made me feel again. He reminded me what it feels like to be excited, curious, attracted, hopeful, present. He reminded me what it feels like to actually feel. And a few weeks later, after I had already accepted that I'd never see him again, he walked into the club. um, Completely unexpectedly. And that honestly was one of the best surprises I've had in a long time. What happened after that is a story for another video. But that's not really the point of this one. The point is that this person broke through a wall I had spent years building around myself. And once the wall cracked, I realized something important. Maybe people will disappoint you. Maybe things won't work out. Maybe you'll get hurt. But the possibility of pain is not a good enough reason to stop yourself from feeling. Because some moments are worth experiencing even if they don't last. And sometimes a person enters your life not to stay forever, but simply to remind you that you're still alive.